and welcome to Show Me Your Prompt. Today I'm sitting down with Nathan. Nathan's going to share all of his AI tips and tricks, but before we dive in, Nathan, who are you? Where are you working? What are you doing?
Such a good question, Ashley. I'm trying to figure that out myself most days. Okay, so I'm Nate Singer. I am a strategic partner development manager at HubSpot. I've been here about 7 years over the course of a few roles. Yep, coming up on a while. Yeah. And my role specifically, I work with some of our most sophisticated Diamond and Elite partners in North America to help them through customer acquisition, retention, and general growth. So it is a phenomenal job. I absolutely love it. And the people I get to work with are the best part.
I love that. Okay, let's dive in. When did you start using AI?
Let me see. The first recorded AI thing that I did for a partner newsletter was, I believe, in 2022. And it was to experiment with, can ChatGPT write copy for us? It had like relatively first came out, and on the newsletter, I'd committed live on the Loom to just, I had it write me a newsletter, and whatever it said, I would have to say live for everybody. And I had a bigger book of partners at the time. It did not go well. Okay.
I think that's how we all started, was like dabbling ChatGPT. It's like copywriting / Google. And it evolved. So
massively.
How are you using it now? Like, what is the prompt that you're going to?
Great question. I think to take a step back from there, I almost want to talk a little bit, if it's okay, about like where this started becoming like crazy useful for me versus like the prompt and retrieval. I feel like the majority of folks out there are still using this largely as Google, right? It's just like a little bit better of a search engine. And that's like, there's nothing, like, to be honest, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, that's fine. I just think that's using like maybe like tip of the iceberg level of what you can do here. And for me, what really unlocked the potential of like, kind of like the, can I curse on this? Like, cursing, like my little oh shit moment, right? When I specifically learned what a Claude bot was, and then I wanted to put one on my own computer, and then I'm smart enough to be like, oh, this is a work computer. That's real dumb. And then figured out how to get a Mac Mini shipped out a few days later and get a separate screen and a separate everything. And like, it took me like 8 hours to set this thing up. Like, I am not a technical person. I'm a salesperson, right? Like, so this was I didn't know how to cue the terminal when I started with this thing. I'm like, what the fuck is a terminal? Like, what am I doing here? But like 8 hours later, this thing was alive and functioning and had a personality and an email account and a WhatsApp and its own phone number. And it was doing stuff for me, like around the internet without me, like one prompt, and it was off to the races doing things. And that to me, I'm like, oh my God, this is different.
You're like, oh no, now I'm worried about where this is going. So
worried and excited. That's like kind of like, you know what I'm saying? It's like right at the middle there. It kind of depends on the day.
Yeah. Okay. So
the prompts, what am I doing? What am I prompting here? Okay. Yeah. So for work, obviously, like if you're listening to this, like if you're use the stuff your work is giving you, please don't like buy your own stuff and then like plug your company stuff into it. That's like, it's just such a dumb way to get fired. Get fired for something fun.
Yes, exactly. With that said,
okay, we have our enterprise GPT licenses. We do not, my role specifically does not have a Claude license. So I use that separately on a separate machine for my own personal projects. And it's super useful for that too, but I don't, because I can't use it at work right now. We use NotebookLM pretty extensively. We also have all of the HubSpot agents that I'm sure you're familiar with. Like deal automation, for example, is a phenomenal use of AI internally. So to give a few examples of how I use it on a day-to-day basis, we also have Glean, and there's chatbots, and there's a bunch of, like, I could keep going down the list, but for the sake of brevity, on a daily basis, every one of the agencies I work with has a project within Enterprise GPT. And every call that's going, it's recorded by Granola, is going to get fed in there. Every long form, like if I'm getting looped in on, let's say, a customer escalation issue, and there's like 15 emails, that's getting summarized and synthesized in there. And before every strategy call, I'm really utilizing that as like a thought partner. Now,
Okay.
I want to be like very explicit. If you're like outsourcing your brain, I don't, not a doctor, but
Yeah.
I don't think that's a very good idea in the long term.
Exactly.
Hot
Right.
take,
Right.
right?
Yes.
But but let's say you were able to get caught up on everything from your last 5 meetings. Like if you're back to back, you only have 15 minutes to prepare for this meeting. You probably should have done it the night before, but you definitely didn't. And you
Yeah.
really just need to get up to speed. It is a phenomenal tool for utilizing it. But the best thing that I think every knowledge worker should be doing is get your company to get you a pro subscription of NotebookLM. Right? They're not that expensive. I mean, I actually don't know how much it is for HubSpot. Scratch that last thing. But get them to buy it anyway, because it's really useful and you're going to like 10x your productivity.
Okay.
And dump in, like if you're in the agency world, right? Like I am, dump in 10 books on productivity management. Like we've all read Traction like one time, like 5 years ago. And like
How to Win Friends and Lose Enemies, or any of those. So yes.
I'm thinking like a little more like you can dump in every like
was it Dan Carnegie?
That's Carnegie. This is a little different than where I'm tacking. I'm thinking like every management book on scale, like Built to Sell, all of these books. And you can even get denser on like some accounting principles, on some like finance for agencies, you can pull in anything you want to have a kind of unique corpus of data that is specific for your job. So if I want to, like I literally did this, a few hours ago, if I am talking through a particular strategy issue for an agency that's scaling from like 5 million a year to 8 million a year in revenue, and they're really trying to like templatize systems and the founder's magnetism is not holding it all together anymore, I don't have to just go to I still want to go to my colleagues. I still want to talk to other people about it, but I can get some of the best management materials and case studies on agencies ever. Synthesize it into one place and bounce my ideas. Like, I think they should do this. Push back on me. Why is this a bad idea? Why is that a bad idea? Right? And I can think through that. And then ultimately, when I'm delivering like an executive brief with several options, it's grounded in so much thought, so much discipline, and I can point to all the research as to why I feel that this strategy is the right strategy to scale their business.
Right. Interesting. I've not heard that one before.
It's like, I don't care if everyone else should do it. Like, it's not like maybe it's secret sauce or whatever, but like everyone should do this.
Totally. And I'm like, it's like we've kind of all missed how important the prompting and like actually feeding research is. Like with books, we're kind of like, oh, it's so smart at this point. Like I don't actually need to do that. But then you end up getting such generic info. So I'm like, so smart, so easy to do that, but also just building that library of knowledge.
Totally. And also like you want it to be light and fast. You don't want it to comb like all the works of Shakespeare to help you like understand why the sales to marketing handoff is broken for this marketing agency, right?
Totally.
Like just zone in and make sure you're doing it within your own company philosophy. And it's just like, and can I tell, like, honestly, something else I do with it?
Yeah.
Like I'll take like really tough, complex, like articles, white papers that are a little above my technical ski tips.
Yeah.
But I think like, let's say Salesforce converting to a headless CRM last week, right? So I kind of know what that, I know what that means. In effect, I kind of know what that means. What does that actually mean in terms of market dynamics? What does that mean? What does that actually mean in terms of where HubSpot could follow? And I can have it create a podcast for me. Like when I'm going on my runs, love to run, love to be outside, try to like clock the 10,000 steps a day for sure. Like I can get a customized podcast on how HubSpot is going to respond potentially to this news of what Salesforce did that was reported in the Wall Street Journal app like a half an hour ago.
Wow. I'm like, okay, so I'm feeling like I was like AI native at this point. Like, but these, I'm like, that's genius. So, and just like filling the human with more power actually, and more knowledge quicker. Yeah.
Can I tell you one thing actually that I don't prompt?
Yeah.
This thing doesn't write for me ever. the writing stinks, and like
it killed the M dash.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm a sales guy. I don't even know what an M dash was.
I know, like, why
all of a sudden,
everything stopped.
Like, yeah, right. Yeah, right. All you people know what an M dash is. Yeah, right. You guys don't even know where to put a comma.
Right. Now people are using M dashes. Yeah. Okay.
Stop it. I think it can be additive and augment your knowledge on a topic. I think it is particularly beneficial for those that are super curious, right? Maybe even a little ADHD. I don't know. Like if you're just like love learning about stuff, like what a time. What a time.
Totally. I hear you. Okay. How do we keep humans in the workforce? Like, what is your forecast with AI?
Me?
Yeah, just I told you I
don't know. So. I don't. Okay, let me tell you this. Okay, anyone, I will say this very concretely. Anyone that's going to come on the internet or here and tell you they know exactly what's going to happen is going to follow it up with selling you a course for $7,000 that will help you get ahead of it. Nobody knows, right?
Totally.
If anyone says with confidence they know what's about to happen, they are trying to sell you a bridge or worse. However, what I think could happen, right? What I think could happen is it's pretty bad. I don't know. What I think could happen is a little bleak. Is that okay?
Yeah, I mean, we're all living this. So
I mean, I think a lot of entry level jobs could get eliminated. I think a lot of, it's almost, think of it like the outsourcing that happened decades ago to US manufacturing, or even to US labor, to business process outsourcers overseas, is happening to an AI. And I think there could be some interesting knock-on effects. Like, for example, if everyone sounds the same, the alpha is in writing your own unique perspective. Similarly, if all customer service is now automated, because that's, like, I don't know if you've seen like Intercom's pivot with Fin. It's really fascinating. But like, if all customer service is automated, maybe humans are now like a way to retain that revenue. Maybe that's a huge outsized thing that like will actually be command to premium, right? Yeah. I think there will be some interesting knock-on effects because humans are still human. Now, in terms of like the more broadly, like, are we going to need a human in the loop at all? Right. I hope so. Like, call me crazy, I'm still pro-human generally.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really hope so. And like, if we could get to the point where we can do like space flight, like in a crazy way, or like cure diseases, or like, help people that are like super duper sick, or like do like orphan drug discovery that we never had the compute power to research before, like that's a phenomenal outcome. But I think we're going to have to get through this sort of tech adolescence that we're in. And I remember my own adolescence, and that was kind of rough at times, right? So I'm sure like humanity's tech adolescence also could be a little rough.
Totally.
Yeah.
That's fair. All right. Yeah.
I don't know if that's a good answer, but that's what I got.
I love it. It's honest. I get it. Love it. Okay. Last question. What's your advice for somebody using AI to amplify their work? Like, just getting started. I hope most people have started, or else you're behind. But like my mom, I literally had to show her how to do Easter brunch in Claude. So
nice. I would say like, you're not behind, because everyone's behind. Like if you're, if you feel like you're behind, that's like a self-reinforcing kind of negative thing. You're not that behind. You're not that behind. Like if you're already using it to prompt stuff, if you're already asking it questions in Google, like it's no problem. You're like a couple hours away from being like at the bleeding edge of what a non-technical average person is doing. Like none of us are working in frontier labs. Like I would say, try to build, if you don't start with Claudebot, please don't. There's like a ton of security weaknesses I wish I had known about before. Like even like when I was setting it up, like ChatGPT instructed me to do something. I'm like, wouldn't that be like a big security? Don't start there.
Yeah.
Like you can use Lovable. You can use Lovable for like $20 a month. You can, and don't like, I don't know, don't try to like make a weird hedge fund that like trades on poly. I mean, do whatever. First of all, do whatever you want. What do I know? But like, actually do something you like. Build something you like. Just pick something you personally like. I really don't care what it is. Like, go to Lovable, pay your $20 a month, right?
Yeah.
Get Claude, you know, another $20 for like cancel your Hulu and cancel your Netflix. It's not helping you anyway. And like, just build a something that you're interested in just for you. And by the time you're done doing that, like I didn't know what Supabase was. I don't know how to integrate like you'll learn so much just by putting together something for the love of the game. So I would say like, just have fun. That's the best advice I got.
I love it. Well, thank you so much, Nathan. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure.